Welcome to a great edition of the Forum. I'm your host, Sheila Evans. Our show highlights interesting and important achievements, programs, and events within our school system and community. We have 3 great interviews on today's show. First, we'll talk with Skip Watkins about this year's Cape Fear Fair and Expo. Each year, the fair brings exciting rides and entertainment to the Wilmington community. You won't want to miss that interview. Then we'll chat with Anderson Elementary teacher, Amy Lindley. She recently published a new children's book, so we'll learn about that and what it takes to become an author. And finally, we'll sit down with Claudia Stack. She's the resource teacher at Lake Forest Academy and featured in Salt magazine for her documentary, Under the Kudzu, a look at schools in the Cape Fear region during the time of segregation. It's an exciting edition of the Forum, and we'll get started right after this short break.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
I am joined by Skip Watkins, and he is here to talk about the Cape Fear Fair and Expo. Give us a little preview.
Well, this year it starts Friday, October 1st through the 11th, Sunday, 10 days. One of my favorite things about it, years ago, I started in livestock, so that's always, it's always my favorite.
Sure.
But the rides leave the North Carolina State Fair and come to Wilmington, so we have what I call state fair rides and county fair prices and lines.
Nice.
But yeah, it is. It's a good family event. You know, it's out at the Wilmington International Airport. And we operate our CapeFearFair.com as our website, but really on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, open from like noon until the later hours of the evening. On weekdays, we're open at 5 because, you know, it's just, you know, the way the market works. But again, my favorite is the livestock. We have a lady, I don't remember her name, but she has a wonderful example display of a milking cow. And it'll be, as you come into the fairground, be over to your left, and there'll be some various schedules. We have bunny rabbit shows with the 4-H. Again, check our CapeFearFair.com website. We have a goat show, as we talked about earlier, the goats. I could tell you stories about them. Well, you know, every animal has its own characteristics. But we have what I call Noah's Ark in the livestock. So you'll have bunnies and chickens and goats and pigs and cows and horses. In our arts and crafts area, we have youth exhibits where young people, we got plenty of time left because we bring in the exhibits on Monday the 28th, 29th, Monday and Tuesday. I don't remember the exact dates in my mind, but that's pretty close. And at the fairgrounds, there's no charge to enter. Everybody will get at least participation ribbon, but a lot of times young people and adults and seniors can win actual money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But you can come do your arts and crafts, whether it's something you've created. If you bring it to the fair, we will find somewhere a category to enter it into.
And the categories wide,
broad.
Crocheting,
There's on our
pottery.
Pottery, or painting, various media, quilting, my favorite.
Nice.
I love the quilting. I just, you know, my grandmother did that. The jams and the jellies. And again, if you go to our website, CapeFearFair.com, there is a premium book. And it doesn't take a lot. It's fairly common sense, and you can see what's there. But if you don't find what you're looking for, but you can find the hours of entry, bring it on. We'll get it in there. And
with the livestock, do kids bring the goats and show them?
We do. It's a one-day show on a Saturday, and the bunnies the same way. And some of the goats are on display, and some are brought in. A lot of fairs have a rotating livestock. We're like a Noah's Ark. But I think in our urban area, Pender, Brunswick, and New Hanover, we provide something that is lacking otherwise. And I'm so proud. Our livestock is run almost totally by a 4-H group out of Pender County. There are other young people that involved in the area too, but the Pender 4-H guys, are young ladies and young gentlemen, are our basis of our livestock.
And that's almost like a lost art when you talk about New Hanover County and such.
It is. I mean, I forgot how many, there's only like 2 or 3 registered farms left here, but to see those young people participate when nobody's looking. I watch them clean the stalls. I watch them prepare everything, and you walk away going, pretty good.
That's neat.
And the rides, oh my goodness. Some people, the fair, to me, the fair is the exhibits and the and the livestock and the people. But our middle schoolers, even our youngers, we've got about 35, 40 rides. Again, they leave State Fair, come here. If people want to save money at the area of Scotchman through midnight to 31st of October, whatever the last day of October is, through
31st.
midnight, it's like $17, saves $5. But $22 covers all the rides and admissions. On weekdays, if someone does not want to ride, they can pay $5 to walk around. So if mom and dad wanted to come on a Wednesday and bring the kids, they could get in 5 apiece, and whatever they charge, however they chose to buy the admission tickets for the rides. But we've got about 1/3 of our rides what we call children's rides. About 1/3 what we call medium rides, which which I would probably be good for. And then we have about 1/3 of what we call spectacular. And these are the ones you go up and down and all around. This is just great. But the company Powers Great America, and this is my 32nd fair, and it's their 32nd fair with us. So it's uniquely, we started at the same time.
So you've seen a lot.
We've entertained over 1.5 million people safely.
Do the numbers continue to go up every year?
Actually, we probably hover around, since we moved to the airport. We used to be on Carolina Beach Road, but since we hovered around the airport, we probably hover about 45,000 people a year. It's something that the queuing is beautiful out there. There's hardly ever any backups in the lines. And if a family wants to come in and have a fun time, you can arrive at 5 o'clock on a weekday, do your admission however you choose, and if you go to our website, you can figure out the least expensive way for your family. And we have 3 shows. We have pig races that are included. We have a Pirates of the Caribbean acrobat show that performs a couple times on the weekends. It's more, but on the weekdays twice. Pig races twice, and we have a gentleman named Brad Matchett who's come back after several years in a row because by what he called popular demand.
Gotcha.
So there's free shows that are included. Yes. But it's you could come at 5 o'clock, leave at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and get the kids in bedtime, and that you will get your money's worth, and they'll be worn out. Weekdays is nowhere near the lines that we have on the weekdays.
Sure. What about parking?
Parking is right across the street, free of charge.
Nice.
It's run by the New Hanover County Law Enforcement Association. It's nice to have current and retired law enforcement officers out there in the lot.
Makes sense.
And yes, ma'am. And it's very close to the venue, right across the street. On weekends, you could get closer to 23rd Street, if you get there late, but it's less than an 1/8 of a mile walk.
Not bad. Not bad. So it starts Friday?
Friday the 1st at 5
Very
o'clock.
good.
Yep. CapeFearFair.com. And again, the early tickets, advanced tickets at Area Scotchman through the last day of October.
Very good. Well, Skip, thanks for coming and sharing with us.
One other thing,
Sure.
The advanced tickets, $1 of each advanced ticket goes to a scholarship fund at Cape Fear Community College.
Oh, excellent. Another reason to get them early.
Another reason.
Very good. Thank you, Skip. We appreciate
very
it.
much.
I'll be
Appreciate
back
it.
in a few minutes right after these messages. Good to see you.
You too.
We've all seen that moment in movie credits that says no animals were harmed in the making of this film. It comes and goes pretty quickly, but so much goes into making sure that happens. As a film director, I rely on the 8 decades of experience American Humane brings to safeguarding animals in entertainment. Their work starts well before we ever film. They consult on scripts, advise on locations, provide guidance on training, veterinary care, workplace safety, and much, much more. Whenever or wherever we film with animals, American Humane is on set making sure we get it right. Today, their mission is more important than ever. Because when you're a director making a movie, a television show, a web series, music video, or commercial, you're taking on a huge responsibility. And nothing is more important than making sure all of the cast and crew are safe. That includes the animals on set. And thanks to the passionate people of American Humane, we can.
My next guest is Amy Lindley. She's the MTSS coordinator at Anderson Elementary, and she has written a book called Rosie's Regret. Tell us, why did you write a book?
Well, it started about 13 years ago when my oldest daughter, who is now a senior at Isaac Bear,
Oh, wow.
when she was getting ready to turn 4, and she was going to have a birthday party. And I wanted to teach her how to appropriately respond in an awkward situation such as birthday presents and opening gifts, and what happens if you open a gift that you already have, which is something that really happened to her, one of her friends. And so I wanted to teach her what to do if it happened to her.
Very good. Tell us a little bit about the writing process itself.
The writing process itself, when I got the idea to do this with her, it was very much teacher driven. I got paper, pencil, created the book, bound it at school, laminated it, and just did the illustrations myself at that point, just to get her the message of trying to teach her through literature.
Okay. What did it feel like the first time you saw your book published?
It was pretty amazing. Like I said, it had been a 13-year endeavor, and when I finally held the book and the illustrator, of course I did not do the illustrations, I had a wonderful illustrator do the illustrations. Just to see your name as the author, having read the title and the author, as a teacher for over 20 years, it was really nice to see my own name in
Gotcha.
print.
Very cool. What do you hope to teach others from this book?
So the book has several messages. One is empathy, teaching her how to empathize with others' feelings, not to hurt her friends' feelings, but also friendship and kindness to others.
Nice. Do you plan to write any other books?
I would love to. I would love to see Rosie do some other things and help teach other lessons that children can relate to.
Gotcha. What did you learn from the publishing process?
The publishing process itself was very interesting and a little bit daunting. You have to have realistic expectations when you start out being a first-time author. But the actual process itself was pretty easy to learn once I knew the ins and outs of publishing and Amazon and that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Would you encourage other teachers and students to publish?
Oh my goodness, if I can do this, they can do this. And when I go read to classes, which I absolutely love to do, I teach them about the writing process, going through and editing and making changes, which is what I did with the illustrations, with my illustrator, with the writing. So I definitely would encourage not only teachers, but students to
Nice.
get involved with being a published author.
So I see somebody on your lap. Can you hold her up and show her to it? Talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so this is Rosie.
Nice.
And I thought that it would be something special in addition to the book itself, but actually have a character to make it more inviting and alive for especially the younger students.
Yeah, it's tangible.
Yes.
Not everybody can hold the book.
Exactly.
So what do your children think about this whole process?
So I have 5 students that attend New Hanover County schools from 7 all the way up to 17. And they think it's pretty cool to see mom as a published author. I think that they see it as a real entity that someone can actually write and publish and have a tangible book written by them.
So they got to watch the journey.
They did. They were involved, yes. And they're actually included on my last page about the author. So
Oh, very nice.
they have a little spot in the book as well.
Okay. How does one get your book?
Through Amazon. Right
Okay.
now it's on sale, paperback, the hardcover just got posted, and also on Kindle, on ebooks.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Nice, nice. How are sales going so far?
So far so good.
Good.
Like I said, you have to have realistic expectations, first-time author, but I'm learning as I go with that.
And Rosie's relatively new. Is she for sale yet?
She is for sale.
Okay.
She is relatively new, so I have to work on getting her up and running. But yes, Rose, you can get a Rosie doll with the book.
Nice. So tell us what else keeps you busy at Anderson.
Anderson is a wonderful school. I am the MTSS coordinator there.
Which means, to those who don't know the acronym.
Yep, multi-tiered system of support.
Okay.
So my job is to identify those students who need extra interventions, work with the teachers on collecting the data school-wide, classroom, and then I'm also the interventionist for kindergarten through second.
Very good.
Yes.
And what do you do in your free time?
Free time, I absolutely love to write, so
Nice.
that is going to be, the focus of my free time now is trying to find other ways to incorporate Rosie in different lessons. But my kids keep me pretty busy after school with
Sure.
soccer and schoolwork. So.
Are you able to share? Have you thought about what she's going to get into next?
I'm looking at maybe some more lessons. I always like to teach, to have something, as a teacher, there's got to be
Sure.
a lesson that you teach. But I also would like for her to have some adventures.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Very good. Well, Amy, thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah,
And this is
absolutely.
an exciting adventure, and hopefully we'll see Rosie all over the place.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be back in a few minutes, right after these messages.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Pre-diabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
WomenHeart is in a race to save lives. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. It's 80% preventable if you know the facts. Millions of women are living with or at risk of heart disease. Get educated. See your doctor. Know the facts. To win this race, we all have to do it together. Our hearts beat as one. To learn more, visit womenheart.org.
My next guest is Claudia Stack. Not only is she a teacher with New Hanover County Schools, she is a documentary filmmaker. Today we're here to talk about researching the Rosenwald schools. Tell us a little
Yes.
bit about that.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that when you say Williston is the greatest school under the sun, Williston was actually part of a much larger school building movement that had a huge impact on southeastern North Carolina and North Carolina in general. The most recent Williston building on 10th Street was built in part with Rosenwald funds. And the Rosenwald Fund helped communities leverage school construction during the segregation era.
Very nice. I did not know that, and my children went to Williston. What is a Rosenwald school?
Well, as you know, during the segregation era, schools were separate, and quite often the school systems and the schools provided to African American students were not nearly adequate. So during the segregation era, Julius Rosenwald created a program with Booker T. Washington at Tuskegee, and they made a pilot in 1912 where they matched funds raised by communities to build primary schools. And it was so successful that the program quickly grew. Schools were built across the South, almost 5,000 school buildings between 1912 and 1932.
Wow, that's a lot. We couldn't do that today. How many Rosenwald schools are across the Cape Fear region?
Well, in New Hanover, Brunswick, and Pender County, there were 35 Rosenwald school buildings. That includes a shop at Williston and a couple of teachers' homes, but primarily classroom buildings. So again, this was a huge impact across the Cape Fear region. And that was in addition to other kinds of schools that African American communities were building during the segregation era, such as schools with religious roots like C.F. Pope in Burgaw, which started in 1896 as a Baptist school for ministers, but quickly changed to a more general curriculum. But that was a private school with a religious origin. and then later it was taken over by the school system in the 1930s.
Gotcha. So let's talk about your filmmaking.
Yeah.
How many films have you made? What, kind of fill us in on that.
Well, I've made 3 feature films and numerous shorts, usually with some hand in by students. For example, my most recent film, Sharecrop, is narrated by a very talented young lady. Her name is Trinity Washington, and she's a student at New Hanover High.
Nice.
Yeah, but this is my 3rd feature film. My first feature film was called Under the Kudzu, and it's a documentary that traces the history of 2 fairly typical Rosenwald schools in Pender County.
Okay, and then you have one more?
And another film I made after that is called Carrie Mae, An American Life. And it's a biographical film, a documentary about a wonderful teacher and mentor, Carrie Sharpless Newkirk. She passed away, but her life was so interesting, and she was such a mentor to me because she grew up the child of sharecroppers in Duplin County, attended Rosenwald schools and an HBCU, taught in a Rosenwald school, and eventually in 1966, Carrie Sharpless Newkirk became one of the first African American teachers to integrate a European American faculty in the whole Cape Fear region. She was one of the first.
Oh, cool. Now, where have your films been screened?
Well, I've had some success on the film festival circuit. My short film that's the Mississippi Delta segment of Sharecrop has screened at 15 film festivals, 10 in the US and 5 internationally.
Oh, nice.
And Sharecrop and Under the Kudzu have screened at many academic conferences. Under the Kudzu screened at the 2012 National Trust for Historic Preservation Rosenwald School Conference at Tuskegee, and then Carrie Mae, An American Life screened at the 2015 National Trust for Historic Preservation Conference about Rosenwald schools.
Wow, that's a lot. Awesome.
Thanks.
I understand you do presentations. What kind of presentations do you do?
Right. Along with my colleague, Dr. Richard Newkirk, we do professional development for educators, also presentations for kids, or presentations really for any group that wants to learn more about African American education heritage. Our presentation for educators is called Lessons from the Rosenwald Schools, Appreciating African American Education and School Heritage.
Very nice. Why do you think this walk with history is relevant?
I think it's very relevant today because, for one thing, I think it's really important to realize that our African American students have an incredible school building heritage. Their families were striving for education and sacrificing for education more than any other group, really. And this really is not a long time ago, but families were paying their taxes and then raising money again to build schools and maintain schools for their children. And so this heritage really impacted the Cape Fear region because these institutions, while they were under-resourced compared to the other schools, they really were the place where a lot of our local leaders were nurtured. If you talk to any of our African American leaders in the community, in education, business, government, and if they're age maybe 60 or older, many of them attended these schools, either Rosenwald schools or schools that were otherwise built by the African American community. And what you hear from them is the incredible commitment to education and the way that their teachers nurtured them. And it's kind of summarized in the motto from Winston-Salem, which is enter to learn, leave to serve, go out to serve. And that ethic really came through at all of these schools. And so many of our leaders today were shaped by this school heritage. And, you know, so many people have told me that they felt that their teachers were like another parent. And the teachers were very effective. So that's the other part of it is Dr. Newkirk and I include a lot on the pedagogical strategies of these teachers in these schools because they were very effective teachers.
Wow, that's impressive as well.
Thanks.
Where can people view your films?
Well, thank you. You can learn more about Rosenwald schools and link to see Under the Kudzu and Sharecrop on Amazon Prime Video. If you go to my website, stackstories.com.
Easy enough.
Yeah. And Carrie Mae in American Life is also up on Vimeo, but I don't have it on Amazon yet.
Okay.
But it should be.
And what about your next presentation? Anything local?
Okay, I'll be, Dr. Newkirk and I will be at Wake Forest University in mid-November, but we'll be back here at Cape Fear Community College doing a presentation in February, so I'll be sure to put that date and specific information on the website.
Great. Well, congratulations on all these accomplishments. That's awesome. And your
you.
passion for history surely comes out.
Thank you. I think it's fascinating.
That's great. We'll be back in a few minutes, right after these messages.
As farmers and ranchers, stewardship of the land comes naturally. Your work keeps our water clean, improves the soil, and enhances wildlife habitat. It also provides countless benefits, not just for you and your family, but for millions of Americans who depend on this region every day without even realizing it. Thank you for being stewards of America's prairie, for all of us. Take a moment and find out how conservation pays. Visit conservationpays.org.
We hope you've enjoyed our program today. The Cape Fear Fair and Expo runs November 1st through the 10th, besides the Wilmington International Airport. For more information, please visit capefearfair.com. You can buy the book Rosie's Regrets on Amazon, and you can also watch Under the Kudzu on Amazon Prime. And if you ever have any questions about the topics we discussed here on our show today, please call the school system's public relations office at 254-4106 or check out the school system's website at www.nhcs.net. I'm Sheila Evans, and thanks for joining me today.